My university just became the first university to give free access to its students to ChatGPT. I am here with Stephen Johnson, a best-selling author and one of the people behind Google Gemini's new Notebook LM. So Stephen, what are the advantages to a student of Notebook LM over something like ChatGPT?
Everything in Notebook is really designed to help you with the information that you were really focused on, the documents that you're really focused on. And so we have this, it's what we call kind of source grounding. Like you provide the source material, we ground everything the model says, everything the AI says in the content of the documents you've provided. And so this allows you to both personalize the knowledge that you have. It greatly reduces hallucinations. You can read the original source material in the app, so you can go back and read the original text. And you can manage hundreds of sources in a single notebook. So it really is the best surface for any kind of project that involves lots of different documents. So in a student use case, think of it as like you load up a notebook for one of your classes and you have all the reading for your classes in that one notebook. It's like once you do that, the AI has become an expert in the material that you were studying for that particular class.
In the UK, we teach a lot with the idea of a specification. So on my page, I'll tell students the specification is what you want to look at because it tells you literally everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So to have a tool that you could input something as large as the specification and then just have that conversation with the specification itself, and you'll know that it's not going to just suddenly make things up from somewhere else. It's just so incredible.
And well, I'll show you, but we have this whole really state-of-the-art citation system too. So every time you get an answer from the model, there are these little inline citations for every kind of statement of fact, and you can just click on those citations and it will take you directly to the original passage in the source text that it used to come up with that answer. So just as a way of fact-checking what the model says, or actually fact-checking your own work, like if you finished a paper, you can put it into Notebook with your background sources and say, hey, I want to make sure this is factually accurate. Help me walk through this text to make sure that I've gotten all the details right. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here. So as you're getting started, one of the things to think about is like creating a notebook. What is the right kind of organizational structure? I think in the student use case, one notebook per class is a great way to go. So let's say I'm taking a history class. You'll open the notebook, and the first thing you're going to do is add sources. You really can't do anything in Notebook without sources. So you'd add sources, and then you can bring in PDFs, you can bring in audio, YouTube links, Google Docs slides, Markdown files, a bunch of different formats, even images, copied text. So in this case, I'm going to go to my Google Drive. I've got some quotes from a book that I've just read about the American West. And so I'm going to bring that in. And the source is going to come in here. It's going to take a second or two to process it. There, it's done. I'm already got a kind of summary here. It's already titled the notebook this. I can retitle this whatever I want, but it's already figured out what it is. And at that point, I can just ask anything I want. Now, I could have loaded in 20 or 30 or 40 different other documents here, but let's just do it with this one. So then I could say something like, what was the significance of the discovery of gold? This is a pretty big question because it was actually very significant. And so Notebook LM, Gemini, which is the model behind it, is going to go through this source, find all the relevant information that will help me answer my question, and generate this very kind of thoughtful, detailed, well-organized response with citations to the original text. It starts coming in, it starts talking about the economic transformation. Now you could ask a general purpose model, you could ask Gemini or you could ask ChatGPT this question, but it wouldn't be grounded in the particular assignment that you're working with here. And so here are the citations, right? So if I just hover over them, I can see the original passage. And if I want to actually read it in context, I just click on it and it takes me directly to that passage. And it's amazing because you could have like millions of words of information in this notebook, and that clicking from citation to that passage would be exactly as fast. So now the other thing we have, so basically we have this what's called a 3-panel interface. You have sources on the left, you have chat in the middle, and then we have this very exciting studio panel on the right. And that allows you to kind of transform the information you're working with into all these different forms. So I'll show you a couple of examples of that. One of them is we have a terrific notebook that's actually available to everyone that is the complete works of Shakespeare. Wow. All in one notebook. All the plays and also the poems, even though we say they're complete plays here. And so one, it's an amazing kind of academic resource. But one cool feature we have is called mind maps. And basically mind maps goes through all the information, figures out what are the main themes that are covered in this work, and creates this visual kind of representation of those themes. So this is the mind map that Notebook created for all of Shakespeare's work. And so you can see it's dividing it up into love and relationships, morality and virtue, power and ambition. And these all have subcategories. And what's amazing about this is that every single one of these is actually clickable. And so when you click on one of those nodes in the mind map, it takes you back to the chat. And it basically creates this prompt, like discuss what these sources say about social status in the larger context of power and ambition. And so now it's going to write this beautiful little mini essay about social status in Shakespeare's work with like quotes from the original plays and all this stuff. So just as a way of getting that big picture view of what's in your content, what's in your reading, it's a genuinely new way to kind of navigate through information.
Absolutely. I mean, I can see this tool in particular being so useful for those essay writing subjects.
Yeah.
So for example, for English Lit GCSE, I made a little mind map for each theme and each character because that's what I know you're assessed on. So students can know, okay, I'm going to be assessed on a theme or a character, and they can use that mind map tool. Then suddenly you've got all your essay plans all mapped out there, back to the source material.
Yeah, and the other thing you can do, well, it's writing a very long essay, that's why it's taking so long. You can, here it comes in now, it's just like quoting from all the different plays. It's just so magic. I did graduate work in English literature, so like seeing this, 40 years later is just such an incredible thing. You can also always take your own notes in notebooks that you've created, and so you can kind of use the ability to write inside the app is really helpful as well. So as you're doing these things, you can save any of these responses and keep them to use later. That's a big part of the power of the tool. It is an actual notebook as well. Let me show you one other thing that we just rolled out specifically for students. We're really excited about it. We've released a couple of like open source textbooks actually that are available, freely available with OpenStax. And this is a biology textbook. And for these notebooks, we've started to use our new flashcards and quiz feature, which is very powerful. So for these notebooks, we've actually pre-generated quizzes for each of the units in the textbook, but you can, in your own notebook, you can create your own quizzes and flashcards for whatever you want. So if you go into this quiz on the cell, I'm just going to open up the screen a little bit here. You can see you get 15 multiple choice questions, and there's an option for a hint down at the bottom. I'm going to hopefully get this wrong. Let's see. I'm thinking yes. Okay, so I get this answer wrong. At the bottom, there's a little button saying explain. And just like in mind maps, if I click that, it goes to the chat and says, basically, I'm taking this quiz. This is the answer I gave. It was wrong to this question. Explain why the other one is the right answer. And based on, the source material that you've assembled, your textbook, whatever you're trying to study, it will give you this lovely guide to help you understand what you got wrong. And again, with pointers back to the original textbook to help you find the passages you need to understand it best.
This new studio mode is what makes it so incredible for me to be like this ultimate study hub, because you have the understanding and the way that you can chat to it, but then you also have this active recall premise, which is what I just drill to students again and again and again. Active recall is what allows you to memorize huge amounts of information, and the fact that you have that all in one system, and then you're thinking about can you apply that to an exam context.
The feature that we're kind of like most famous for is this feature called audio overviews that came out last year and just kind of went viral. And basically what that does is, instead of turning your source material into a quiz or a flashcard or a mind map, it turns it into a simulated podcast conversation between two people. And students have been using it basically to like review the material that they are working on while they're going for a bike ride, while they're at the gym, or just to like approach it from a different angle to help you learn about it. And so we have really exciting development. It's not quite shipping yet, but it's coming soon, which I wanted to share, which is people have been asking for this here in the UK, which is UK accented audio overviews. So I just want to give you a little preview of what that is going to sound like. Here we go.
Right then, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving headfirst into the flowery, sugary, occasionally quite stressful world of the Great British Bake Off.
Or, as you might know it if you're listening over in the States, the Great British Baking Show.
Exactly. We're talking about the
That is
brand
so
new
good.
2025
That
season. So
British
series
voice.
16
Yeah,
here.
the way that the audio overviews work is that they're basically the hosts have been, and that was all AI, right? Those were not human
crazy. It
beings.
sounds so realistic.
It's amazing,
It's
isn't
so
it?
good.
And they've been instructed to kind of find the most interesting things from your source material and turn it into a conversation about that. And so our kind of slogan for audio overviews is make anything interesting. So give it the like most dry, whatever you're studying, the economics textbook you're studying, these people will turn it into something that it's actually memorable.
And then just listen to it anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to just, when I'm at the gym, just pop in like these AI audio, like textbook summaries. It's just a great way to study and multitask.
Exactly.
So Stephen, obviously this idea is all based in this idea of hyper-personalized learning, right? So if we took that concept even further, how would you see a tool like Notebook LM and AI being integrated into a classroom or a study space in the future?
Yeah, we're spending a lot of time thinking. We're working very closely with Google Classroom as well, and a division called LearnX, which is really focusing on the student's learning journey. So to be, it's quizzes and flashcards are great, but what you really want to do is think about like, what are your overall objectives? What are you trying to master? And where are you in the stages of learning to get to that set of goals? And if we can, in a sense, teach the underlying model, teach Gemini in Notebook LM, not just about the source material, but where the learner is, I think there's an opportunity to create an incredible kind of personalized tutor that would really be a transformation of how education works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're excited to build it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Oh, my
Thanks for
pleasure.
showing those
Yeah,
tools
I mean, I
that
love talking about this product.
It's just so exciting for students. As a student myself, it's just a really exciting tool.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Sure thing.